Good evening. You may be wondering why I'm talking into a wooden spoon. Let's talk about dopamine. According to Google, dopamine is a neurotransmitter made in your brain. It plays a role as a, quote, reward center, and in many body functions, including memory, movement, motivation, mood, attention, and more. But I don't have to use Google to tell you guys what dopamine is. You know what dopamine is. It's that chemical in your brain that makes life worth living. That good. Whenever you are feeling good, it's because of dopamine. And whenever you're feeling bad, it's probably because you don't have enough dopamine. I feel like more than ever, we have an issue with our dopamine. The issue is not so much as being able to get the dopamine, it's about being able to get the wrong kind. You can probably guess where this video is going, right? Social media bad. Don't click out the video yet. Let me explain what I mean. Hold on. We've heard that message a million times. Social media bad. But I want to talk about why. I was watching this really awesome video by a guy that I follow. His name is Jed Hearn, and he was talking about why dopamine is bad for writing. And essentially his argument was that consuming large amounts of dopamine through social media, through phones, technology, things like that, ways that don't make us work for the dopamine, we are depriving ourselves of the effort that makes things rewarding. What is something that you've worked so hard for to get? Maybe in your life it was to be good at a sport. Maybe it was to get good grades. Maybe it was to make a lot of money. Maybe it was even music.
You like jazz?
You put all those hours in, all that hard work, the frustration, the tears, the anger, and finally you came out and you were something. I think as humans, we are conditioned to think in terms of work and rewards. Obviously, we all want that good. We all want that dopamine. We want that rush of good feeling, but we have to be able to work to get to it. And I think that's the biggest issue with having social media, having our phones, things like that, is that it essentially removes the work out of the dopamine equation. So while you're sitting in class bored, while you're at your 9-to-5 job bored, all it takes is one moment of impulsive thinking to reach in your pocket, pull out your phone, and you are instantly overwhelmed with every single video on the internet. Things like that can be really exciting at first. I remember when I was a kid, my parents didn't let me have technology for a very long time. I know, it's very sad. I wanted a Nintendo DS so bad, but did I get one? No. Thank you, Mom. I remember the day that I finally got an iPod Touch. Oh my goodness. I went crazy on this thing. I downloaded all the games. I had Angry Birds Space. I had Cut the Rope. I had Where's My Water. I had the whole gamut. Like I said, these things can be really exciting, especially when you don't have it for a long time, because it's sort of overwhelming your mind with this dopamine. But it takes a toll on you in the end, because what you're being deprived of is the work to get that dopamine. If all you have to do is pull out your phone and just instantly be overwhelmed with dopamine, it's not the same as having worked to get to that point. It's not about the quantity of the dopamine, it's about the quality of it. So this leads me to the experiment that I did. So I watched this video by my boy Jed Hearn, and it kind of got me thinking about what are the different ways that I get dopamine in my life. And the biggest one that I figured out was Instagram. I am horribly, hopelessly addicted to Instagram, and anybody that knows me will know this to be true, because I am a walking shitpost. I get most of my humor, all of my memes, they come from Instagram. I've been on Instagram, gosh, since I was 12 or 13, probably. I mean, it's been a long time. I remember when Instagram looked like a brown camera, and I remember when the interface was blue. I know, I'm pretty old, aren't I? So when I came to this realization, I was like, man, I gotta do something. Like, it's cause of that dang phone. I'm not saying that I wasn't happy per se. I mean, I am very happy. I'm doing well, but I just wanted to improve just a little bit more, just to see, could I take back some of the control? Could I take back a little bit of that control of my dopamine? Could I try to enrich my life just a little bit by adding in some of the effort to my dopamine? So what did I do? I set myself a rigid schedule. The one thing that 22-year-olds fear the most. So I went into my phone, I found the apps that I use the most, and I wanted to delete them. I really did, but there's just a little part of me that just cannot part with Instagram. Middle school me that found Instagram for the first time on my iPod Touch and found my very first meme, which was actually probably a rage comic. That kid could not let go of Instagram. So what I did is I made a compromise. I took Instagram and I just removed it from my homepage. I'm pretty sure this is a feature on all phones, but I removed it from the homepage. I hid it so I I couldn't see it. I couldn't see the light up icon above it. I couldn't see the bright, colorful, shiny Instagram logo. None of that. It was gone from my sight. After I did that and I took away my most tempting apps, I took them away from my home screen, even though they were still on my phone. I took a second step and I turned my phone on do not disturb mode. And let me tell you, this one was probably the most life-changing. If you have a smartphone, turn on do not disturb mode all the time, unless you're expecting something. I still had that habit where I wanted to reach out my phone anytime I was bored. I actually replaced where the Instagram app was on my home screen with my mobile provider app. So I found that I was absentmindedly reaching into my pocket, pulling out my phone and opening my mobile provider app just to look at, you have a bill due in 29 days. So it was really that habit that I had reinforced that I had to, at all times, whenever I was bored or stressed or not feeling good, I was pulling out Instagram and I was looking for memes. As soon as I learned that that was a habit of mine, I really began to realize I'm spending a lot of time doing this, This is where all my dopamine's coming from, and it's not coming from productive places, it's coming from this app. I went for a couple days on this little regimen that I set for myself. I'll tell you, it wasn't easy, okay? I kept checking my phone all the time. My unconscious brain was starting to learn how to get to Instagram, so I could even unthinkingly open up my phone, scroll just a little farther, and find that app. So it was really a conscious willpower effort to tell myself, you gotta put Insta down, put down your phone, go back to whatever you're doing. And I found it really crazy how much time I was able to kind of retake for myself. Even those little moments throughout the day, they add up. 5 minutes, 5 times a day, that's 25 minutes. Those are 25 quality minutes that you could be spending doing something else, like finding a hobby or learning a new skill. I started finding that without that presence in my life, I started getting really antsy. I was like, I need something to fill my time. So what did I do? I tried pen spinning, and I'm going to show you what I learned. So you got your ordinary pen, and you can spin it. Whoa, oh my goodness. Oh. And then you can do this. Whoa, whoa. Oh my goodness. Okay, it doesn't help that my fingers are a little clammy right now. They're a little sweaty. I'm not gonna lie. This is really cool, I'm sure. Okay, so I'm not an expert at pen spinning. In those few innocent moments when I could have been pulling out my phone at work, instead I was trying to practice the art of pen spinning. It didn't make me great by any means, but I feel like I'm developing a new skill set that I can kind of keep working at, realizing that I can get my dopamine from something else other than my phone that has a little more effort involved, but has a little bit higher of a payoff. Really kind of changed my thinking. Once I started getting into the groove of putting my phone away and finding something else productive to do when I wanted that dopamine hit, I really started to notice a huge change in my thought process and even in my productivity. Like when I come home in the evenings, I'll relax for a little bit, check the notifications on the phone, maybe watch an episode or two on TV. And the majority of my evening is still pretty wide open for me to do whatever I want with. And so there are the nights where I'll get caught up in Elden Ring or scrolling through my phone, things like that. Slowly but surely, I've been able to take some of those nights back and turn them into something productive. And part of that productivity has involved a writing project that I've been working on. For those of you that have been following the channel for a long time, you'll know your boy is a journalist by day, but by night, I'm trying to become a fiction writer. I found that once I was able to completely put my phone away and not be reliant on the phone for dopamine, this writing became a lot easier. And I started to really start putting down some words. I wasn't very regimented about it by any means. I was putting down maybe 200, 500 words a week. And I think just in these past 2 weeks alone, I think I put down 1,000 words a week, if not more. Just seeing that little spike in output coming from the change of my source of dopamine really showed me that this is the right decision and this is going to pull me in the right direction. All this is to say that we need to start fixing our dopamine intake. I'm not saying that you have to go in and delete all your apps and factory reset your phone and only use it as a calculator, because I didn't even do that. I couldn't bring myself to even delete Instagram, the one app that takes all of my time. I couldn't even delete it. We are capable of making small changes that can have a big impact. And I think when it comes to our dopamine, when it comes to our social media use, our phone use, it's not giving us a lot of happiness in return in the long term because we're not working for it. I challenge you guys, you've gotten to this point in this video, you've been listening to me talk. Can you bring yourself to eliminate some of the dopamine in exchange for work. And I know that sucks. I know it sounds like it sucks. Just give it a try, even just for a day, and see what happens. Once you do that, I want you to come back to me, come crawling back to me, and put it down in the comments. Tell me what happened. Tell me how it went. I'm feeling pretty good about this decision. I don't think it was the wrong choice, and I think you'll agree with me. One of the reasons I actually haven't put out a video in so long is because I've been so into this kind of productivity groove that I've been in with my writing that I haven't wanted to take much time away to make a video. I haven't forgotten about you. Be sure to smash the like, leave me a comment, subscribe, and I will be back with more cool stuff.